All right, so first things first, this video is about the NIDHOGG Level 2. But one question we get very, very often on the website is, how do you set up your tactical belt mount system? So this is our tactical belt mount system. This is our thigh band, and this is how the fulcrum articulates with our tack belt mount, Safariland Q22 female mount, and the fulcrum itself. The fulcrum rides on a polymer bushing axle. So when you buy yours built on our website, it'll come pre-built. Our tactical belt mounts are really cool. They've got these rotational slots here so that you can cant a Safariland 6400 series holster rearward. So if you don't like the way Safarilands tip forward, you can actually get full, you get about 5 degrees rearward just from this belt mount alone with the Safariland Q22. This is great if sitting in vehicles, climbing, anything, the thigh band moves with you. Some people have traditionally not liked thigh bands because people will run them behind their Safariland, they smush your bits, whatever. This is super comfortable. If you are an owner of one of these holsters and you want to upgrade to one of these, but you already have a tack belt mount, or you have a Safariland UBL or a True North Precision's belt mount, our fulcrum will work on all of those platforms as well. You're going to use your factory mounting screws for your QLS, and you are simply putting these little plastic grommets in between your belt mount and your Safariland QLS, creating an axle effect to your fulcrum. That's it. And then you put all 3 bushings in so your QLS assembly just offsets that much off of your tack belt mount, creating that articulating point for your holster. Anyway, enough about our tack belt mount. I just wanted to quickly go through how that works and how it's set up. Some people have not been able to figure that out. So I've got a couple examples here. We have our M&P 2.0 NIDHOGG 2 and our Glock series NIDHOGG 2. All these guns are clear, empty, so I understand that we have to treat everything like it's loaded. Well, we're in a safe environment. There's no ammunition around, and we do have to show holsters and how they fit, how they look, and how they interact. So you guys will be okay. We have a Smith & Wesson M&P here, 2.0 metal. I don't think anyone really knew that our outside the waistband holsters for 10 years have been called NIDHOGGs. So this is our NIDHOGG. It's our original holster. It's a tactical belt mount holster. You can order it with a QLS or a G-Code RTI. It also has hole patterns back here for the Blade Tech Boss system. This is a level 1 friction retention holster. It uses a light, or in this case, a trigger guard, to create that nice positive retention, that nice click when you insert your pistol. A lot of people call this and this the NIDHOGG. This is the NIDHOGG Level 2. One thing I want to talk about as well is some folks think that this is not a Level 2. To Safariland standard 6400 series holster, that this would be the most comparable holster to in the Safariland lineup, is considered by Safariland standards a Level 1 active retention duty holster. Why do we call it a Level 2? Well, we call it a Level 2 because our holsters are much tighter form fit to the gun and the light. They're light gun specific or model series specific. They fit a lot more snugly. They're more snug around the trigger guard. What is the actual definition of level 1 friction? I don't see a published friction coefficient for what actually constitutes a friction holster. Can we argue that you could tighten the bushings down and shake it upside down with the mechanism overridden and it holds it in place? Is that considered level 1 retention? I don't really care. Safariland makes quality products, but us being compared to them, it's a completely different mechanism, completely different holster, completely different system, completely different manufacturing processes, and our holsters are much tighter tolerance to the gun and the light than a Safariland 6400 series active retention level 1 holster. So we call it the level 2. We call it the level 2 because the NIDHOGG original has been out for 10 years. This is the same exact type holster where it has multiple mounting solutions on the inside, RTI, QLS, and Blade Tech, but it now has our active retention mechanism that you have to override to draw the pistol. We're calling it a level 2. We originally designed this for shooting sports, like the tactical games, PCSL, 2-gun, 3-gun, folks that want to run a light on their gun and want a very fast draw holster. And then it so happens that this does meet a ton of requirements for the special operations community. Many tier 1 units that we work with don't have a level 2, level 3 requirement. They have a mechanical active retention mechanism requirement that needs some type of override to draw the pistol. If a unit comes to us and says, we have Surefire XVL2 light laser systems on a Glock 17 with a compensator and this unique optic that rides forward, can you make a holster for it? It does not fit a Safariland holster. We have the capabilities to make these holsters mission specific. It's not hard for us to develop a new holster. Right now, these are currently only available for X300s and the Glock series with TLR7 HLX and X series lights. So the cool thing about our holster is its draw potential, its speed. It is so fast. It is so fast, it's like a race car. It's like the Ferrari of holsters. And I say that because as long as you're just grabbing your gun with your master grip, you don't have to lead with your thumb. You can if you want. I know guys that are doing scoop draws in competition when they scoop their holster and they can just get that grip on it. They can scoop it and pluck it right out. But this is one of those holsters where when you grab for your gun on your waist and you hit that master grip, the gun is coming out. It only needs about around 1/8 to 1/4 inch of travel for the gun to be able to get released. It does not need to be pushed down to its vertical limit. It simply needs to be touched to get it out. So this is another reason why we're not advertising this as a duty holster or duty rated holster, because of its immense speed. Now, if you do want to carry this for duty and your department says this is perfectly fine for duty, a cool feature about it is if you do lift up on the gun first and press the button locks. It freezes, and that's because we have opposing springs inside the mechanism preventing it from activating. So with our holster, you always want to press the button first to initiate that draw. So that's why master grip. You can pump this button with the side of your hand and get this thing out. You can go at it. You can go with your thumb at it this direction. Master grip. If you're in a match and you go at it and you kind of hit it wrong, you're going to be able to still get this holster out. It does take a mild learning curve, especially if you're coming from a Safariland background. You no longer have to swipe with your thumb. You no longer have to do this. It is just, again, master grip and pull. This button is huge, so it's going to contact some portion of your thumb, whether it's the muscle, the digit, the tip, whatever. It's coming out. That is why this holster is as fast as it is, and why we developed it specifically. Some folks will also ask us if we're ever going to do a hood or an optic shield. Maybe down the line. It's an injection molded part. Injection molded tools cost a lot of money. Is it something that is super important? I'd say no. A lot of military and law enforcement as well as civilian sector is going to enclosed emitters. They're pretty robust, hard use optics. Hoods and flaps to cover it and keep debris out was more for non-enclosed emitters where dust and debris and water can get on the emitter surface itself and disrupt the beam being projected at the lens, which can cause all kinds of issues. Enclosed emitter use, in my opinion, should be on all duty pistols. It's one of those things where like a dirty thumb can wipe this off. You don't have to go in there with a rag and clean up inside. None of the units that we are currently working with this product have expressed interest in a hood or shroud for the optic either. So we decided to keep it super simple with, you got the Trijicon RCR that sits pretty high. You've got the RMR HD that sits pretty forward. The second you put a hood over this thing, you're also creating bulk, and you're also creating a ceiling where some optic might have an interference. In this case, we have zero issues with any optic on the market mounted to the appropriate firearm for these firearm model and light model specific holsters. So that's why we did that. Will we ever release a level 3 holster? No. We really like this. We put a ton of money into the development and design of this, and we think this is a star. Once you get it, it is bar none the fastest holster. You do need to practice though, again, coming from a Safariland background. If you start to draw the gun ever so slightly ahead of the button push, it does bind the button. If you're someone that has used the T-Series holsters from Blackhawk, kind of similar. It's a light locking mechanism. Theirs is a seesaw paddle design that's kind of buried in here, and you kind of gotta go for it and then squeeze your thumb towards the body of the holster and the gun itself and draw the pistol. That mechanism has a little bit more, I like to call it a catch band, kind of like driving a manual. The T-Series, you can draw the gun about a 1/4 inch or more before pressing the release mechanism to get the gun out. So people that are used to drawing and then pressing, you just gotta change up your order of operations, or have a new TTP to train to for this holster. So it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get your practice in, I guarantee this is the fastest active retention holster on the market. Do we make pistol specific lengths for the NIDHOGG? You can see here I have a Glock 19 and it's long bodied holster. Well, we're making it for the X300. It fits the Vampire series, Turbo series, Alpha and Bravo lights. Since the light already protrudes all the way down here to the Vampire, if we're trimming this part to the length of the Glock 19 and the holster's already here, why not just have this nice chunky piece of offset, protects your muzzle, keeps debris farther away from your muzzle, and it also fits 17s with compensators, 34s, and any extra unique length modifiers to your pistol. During testing, we did 30,000 presses. We did it again with the same mechanism that had the wear and tear on it and introduced it to salinated environment, so salt aquarium water. Again, 30,000 presses on top of that original mechanism, original springs, no cleaning, no lubricant. We had no mechanical failures on actuation in our test procedure. We have hung these holsters from a trash bin and loaded it with 450 pounds on a blue gun with a light attached to it, and ripped the muzzle off the blue gun. The holster and the mechanism held, and that was with a prototype 3D printed mechanism, not our finished injection molded parts. It is a very hard use holster with a very fast mechanism, and that is what we wanted to bring to the market. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that this was informative and educational. We've had a lot of end users over the globe provide feedback to this project, and now it's a reality and we're really proud of it. Please comment, like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section.